see. I think this is it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is awesome. Check this out. This is exactly what I was hoping it was. This is, I think, the coolest mug I've seen. It is a mug that looks exactly like, all right, hold on, I'm coming. Ready? It is a mug that looks like a camera lens. Is that not the coolest thing, man? I finally got this. I have wanted this a long time. Deanna, thank you, baby. I love my mug. I've got a... We got our mood light on.
Yep.
And we got Timmy and Truckhouse life on. Here's Deanna Michelle. Hey, Deanna Michelle.
Hey, please.
And here's me. Hey everybody, David here, and welcome to the DaveCast. John Maxwell wrote years ago, everything rises and falls on leadership. And you know what? He was right. Whether you're on a ball team or a cheerleading squad, a fraternity or a sorority, a civic organization, whether you're in a family or a business or a school, or whether you're working for a local community or on the state level or the federal level, everything rises and falls on leadership. Good leadership can make life wonderful for everybody, and poor leadership can make life miserable for everybody. So that's what we're talking about tonight, leadership. And I am so glad that my good friend Kirk Bagnal is with us. Kirk and I haven't seen each other for 32 years. And the talk you're about to see is the first time we saw each other after 32 years apart. And as you can tell, our friendship picked right back up where we left off back in 1993. And we talk about something very, very near and dear to Kirk's heart and something that's very important to me as well. And I'll bet all of you, we're going to talk about leadership. Tune in. I think you'll like this. And I hope it helps you in the way that it helped me. So, all right, you and I graduated in 93, Furman University.
Hard to believe. It's over 30 years ago.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we've seen each other.
I think it's been since graduation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good night, man. Did we have any classes together? How did we meet? We weren't even, I don't think we had any classes together.
Somehow we just started eating lunch together. I'm not sure who introduced us, but we, ate lunch together, hung out, played basketball.
Good time. Were you there all 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Because your dad was there. That's right.
Yeah.
And he graduated 53.
Yep.
I think you said
40 years before I did. So.
Did your dad kind of nudge you to go, or you're like,
not at all? No, actually, I'd gone and checked out a lot of different colleges. I knew I wanted to go to the military, so I had the ROTC scholarship, and actually that was what kind of won me over. The campus was great, and then I met the guys that were the leaders in the ROTC program, and I thought, man, these guys are great. And I felt like that was kind of home. So that sealed the deal.
You had good guys in ROTC.
Oh man, yeah, still good friends to this day. Yeah, so graduated and was commissioned as a second lieutenant the same day. So graduated, went in the Army, and then my first duty station was to go to Fort Knox, Kentucky. I was a tank platoon leader, and I was there for about 6 months. And then at the end of that 6 months is when Ruthie and I got married. So my college sweetheart, we got married in November, and then we were in Fort Riley, Kansas together. Wow. Had no belongings, no money, no idea, no clue.
Just love, man.
Yep, we were on our own. And it was great. And I was in the Army there, and then we moved down to Georgia. I was in for 7 years, and loved it. I loved the honor in it. I loved the soldiers, and I was good at it. And but we had our first 2 kids. So our daughters, Kimby and Caitlin, were born, and I was deployed and gone a lot, and so it was hard to be a good dad, a good husband, a good officer. And so we decided that it would be good to get out and try something else. And so got out and went into the manufacturing business world. I had no idea what I was doing in the business world, but the structure in the manufacturing plant kind of matched the Army. So it was kind of actually a smooth transition. And but yeah, that's good. And so that was, got out in 2000 or 1999 and been doing that ever since. And we've moved all over. Now live in North Carolina. We've got 4 kids now and 4 grandkids. Wow. And it's busy and fun. Yeah. And then started my own company about 3 years ago, trying to do for others what I've been doing in one company for years. And so that's and then we reconnected. We
did. So, all right, your company, all right, Ethos.
Yep.
How do you say it again?
You can say it however you want.
How does Kirk Bagnal say it?
I say Ethostory.
Ethostory. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about Ethostory? Yep. And I know a little bit, but I know these folks here, they need to know too.
Sure. So it's a word I made up. Yeah. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what am I going to call the company, because I wanted it to match what I was trying to do. Yeah. And I'll tell you, Dave, I see the world through 2 lenses. I look at everything through leadership and storytelling. And I think I get that from my dad. He was a great leader, greatest storyteller. Yeah. And so the word ethos is a Greek word, and it means specifically recurring patterns or habits that define an organization. So I think of ethos as your culture. And so we believe that ethos story is the culture that you want. So if you have any organization, whether it's a giant company, a church, a team, a family, that there's a story being told about it, and that's the as-is ethos. Yeah. And there's probably a beautiful, compelling story you want to be told. We call that the ethos story. Oh, wow. And so the gap between the as-is and the can-be, we think is really developing a purpose and a plan to get there. We do it through team building, leadership development, and building a culture and communication structure. Right. I hope that makes some sense.
It makes some sense. So are you working in like different groups, like churches, schools, businesses? I mean, like, where do you do you go to people, or do they come to you?
Mostly go to them. So I travel quite a bit. So I've done, I do some work with church staffs, church leadership teams. I was with a group yesterday, a pastor and 2 of his elders, and they're in a church plant. And they started the church a couple years ago with a family, and now they have nearly 300 members. So he said, we've got explosive growth. He goes, I need your help. So we're trying to build a leadership team. So churches, schools, and then mostly some local and then big businesses. And I think I like all of it. I think my original thought was I would work with the leader, like whoever the point leader is, the pastor or the plant manager or the CEO. And I do that some, but what I found is I really like working with the leader and their teams. Yeah. And so the man or woman in charge and their team. These guys were asking me yesterday at that meeting I had, that church group, how do you boil down leadership into one nugget? What's the one thing about leadership? And I'm like, well, gosh, there's John Maxwell, who's written 120 books, has 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So how do you boil it into one? But I think you can. I think if I were to say one thing about leadership that I wish I would have known earlier, and I think everybody should know, is that leadership is a team sport. And that if you're leading by yourself and you're all alone, it's not going to end well. Right. And so it's finding a team and building a team is the best and safest and most effective way to lead. Right. So whenever I see somebody and they don't have a team, I'm like, you got to get a team. So, and usually there are people, they just haven't realized that their team can be peers, people that work for them, mentors. But that is the approach, I think, that changes everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like we were kicking around. We were texting yesterday or the day before about leadership, and you hit on this. And I was thinking about leadership, and Kirk, like right before I met you at Furman, I was at Anderson. and I was student body president at Anderson University. And I was all excited that I got elected.
Mm-hmm.
But then it occurred to me after I got elected, like, you actually need to do something.
Yeah, I've arrived.
That's right.
Now I got to get to work.
I actually have to do something. And so that was one of the first lessons I've learned. And I'm curious if you've kind of had to teach people the same thing. I've learned leadership is more than a position you hold. It's a difference you make.
Oh, man.
Because I think sometimes it's so easy just to be content. Like, I have arrived. I have the position.
Yep, I'm the leader.
But it's like, what you do with it matters so much more.
Yeah, that goes back to another Maxwell, John Maxwell, who really is brilliant. Any book by him and any teaching he has, it is going to be good.
Yeah.
And he talks about these 5 levels of leadership. And it's interesting because it's kind of counterintuitive. The lowest level of leadership he calls position level. And a position level leader is, you are the supervisor, you're the manager, you're the president. I should have called you Mr. President that whole time. Mr. President.
Yeah.
And so I think society kind of thinks that's the other way around, that you arrive to the position of leadership.
Right.
And he's saying that's your entry level. And then that's people follow you because they have to.
Yeah.
And to move up, then you have to go to this next level that people follow you because they want to. Mm-hmm. And then people follow you because of what they see you've done for the organization. And then people follow you because of what you've done for them. And then there's his 5th level is this pinnacle level leadership that I don't know if I'll ever achieve that, but that's what we should aim for, is that people follow you because of who you are and what you represent. And I think about, like, my dad was a pinnacle level leader for me, level 5 leader. And I have a couple men in my life, a guy named Kirk, who I call him older, he calls me younger. Yeah. And he's a Navy guy, and he's a generation older, but Kirk and this guy named Tom Musselman, and they are level 5 pinnacle leaders for me. That they're the kind of people that if they recall and say, hey, Kirk, I need you to, doesn't matter what they're going to say next, I'm going to do it because I trust them with my life, my family, my finances, my secrets, my wins and losses. And they have led so well for so long, and they know what's best for me and the people around me. And so that's, there aren't many people like that. And if you really, I think it's a good homework assignment is to look and see who are those people in your life that you look to and see, that's the kind of leader I want to be. And that's the kind of leader I look to. And they're out there.
Oh, yeah.
It takes effort to find them and latch onto them, though.
Yeah. I've noticed that in the church world. Like, you might have the position of pastor, but that doesn't really mean they look at you as their pastor.
Right.
Oftentimes I think a church is one person might have the title, but they might be looking to a matriarch or another patriarch in the church.
Yep. The informal leader who really gets stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can have that position, but we know who's really leading here.
Here's what's really happening.
Yeah, so it's what we do with it. And go ahead.
Well, I was about to say that I think I got inundated with this thinking early because I would join the Army.
Yeah.
My first duty assignment is I'm a second lieutenant and I'm in charge of a tank platoon, and I'm the least experienced person there. And so I had the position, and I had to really swallow a lot of pride, be humble, and listen. And I could see who the informal leaders were, but they still had to follow my leadership. But fortunately, I was following their lead.
Right.
I learned that quickly from some really good mentors back then.
Good leaders can read the room, can't they?
Yep.
They know who to tap into.
Oh gosh, reading the room. You can tell when people can't read the room too.
That's exactly
very
right.
Awkward,
Very
awkward.
Yeah. Some of the people that are watching this are younger, some of them. And so one of the things I was going to talk to you about is, who can lead? I know when I was younger, I would just think, well, a leader would be like General Norman Schwarzkopf.
Right.
I looked at him as the leader.
Icon.
Yeah. I remember, President Bush, when I was a kid, his senior, I remember thinking, there's our leader. But is leadership something that anybody can do, or is it something that's just relegated to one walk of life or one group?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say yes, that anybody can lead, but I would say no, not everybody should lead.
Gotcha.
And there are two different questions and different answers, because I really think that everybody actually is a leader if you define it as influencing other people. So it doesn't mean you're a good leader. You're going to lead for good or for ill, but anybody we're influencing, we're actually leading them, and we're being led by others. But I've talked about this so many times recently, and I can't get away from it, that if you don't have the right motive for leading, you're kind of disqualified. And it's not a decide to have the right motive and be done with it. It's every day saying, why am I leading? Why am I asking this of somebody? And questioning our own motives and confidently moving forward. And I get it wrong sometimes, we all do, but I really do think that is that fine line between manipulating people and motivating people. Comes down to our motive.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you'll hear all these, especially this time of year, commencement speeches, graduation speeches.
Yeah.
And you'll hear the speaker will say, everybody, you should all go be leaders. I just want to shout, no, not all of you, especially you and you. And but everybody can be. And I really think it can be learned. I think there are some leadership leanings that some people have with charisma and ability to communicate, but it is, if it wasn't able to be learned, I wouldn't have written a leadership book.
Right.
Because I do think it can be taught. And it's also, I mean, kind of a pithy phrase, but it can be taught, it also can be caught. We need to be around people that lead well so we can be influenced by them.
Right.
So yes, everybody can. No, not everybody.
Not everybody should. That's right. I haven't finished it. I started it. And I wrote in the front here, one of the quotes. This is what you said on page 11. Leadership is an act of love. You must love the people you lead. And that seems to be like a really big thing that's on your heart right now. You got to love if you're going to lead. Is that sort of the main thrust of what you're putting here? Is that you've got to care about people?
Yeah, it really is. That's the comma on the title, love, comma, to lead. It's not that you just love to lead.
Right.
It's you have to love, comma, in order to lead people.
Right.
And that goes back to the motive, and that I've seen it. I've seen it towards me, maybe from me some, but the people that truly have cared about me and led me well, it's because they actually loved me. And I know it may sound a little silly at work or somewhere, but I just think we spend so much time in our working life. We probably spend more time with the people we work with than the people we live with.
Yeah.
And so we can't just like turn it off and say, hey, I'm not going to love for over 50% of my life because it's work. It just seems crazy.
Yeah.
And it's in the book I talk about that, you and I, we're children of the 80s, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We grew up in greed, speed, and efficiency. And it really was a decade of try to get what you want for you, get the brass ring at all costs. And I think that really undermined leadership. And there's been this, I think, new wave of people coming back to the real reason to lead is for others, not for ourselves. And it's interesting because not only is it the right way to lead, but it's actually the most effective way.
Yeah.
Because if we truly care about people and we know them, we're going to get from them discretionary effort that we wouldn't otherwise.
Right.
And that's not the reason to, but that is the result of leading the right way. Hopefully I unpacked that correctly, just think about it, there's nothing more powerful than love. Right. I mean, I heard a great leader speaker recently, Erwin McManus. I got to see him in California. He's been a hero of mine for years. I finally got to meet him. Oh, he's brilliant. He has taught me how to think critically and to be a better thinker.
Yeah.
And but one thing that he talks about is that every human being has three motives, and it's to find purpose, to achieve progress, and to have love, intimacy. And so I think if we are leading well, we're loving people, we're moving forward in progress towards a purpose, you really can't go wrong with that.
Right.
And it's not just work, and it's not just getting stuff done. It actually applies as much or more at home.
Yeah. Yeah. So leadership really is, good leadership is an expression of love.
I really believe so.
Yeah.
I know it's true. I really do. I absolutely know it's true, and I'm trying to convince everybody that it's true for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I crossed the being 50 years old threshold a few years ago, and I thought, oh, okay, I'm halfway done, optimistically. So what am I going to do for the next 50 years? And I really am on this quest to help people learn that leadership is an act of love, and that it's worth trying. I mean, if you haven't tried it, try it.
Oh, yeah.
It's risky because, there's nothing worse than loving and losing and getting hurt.
Right.
But if we don't put ourselves out there and love the people we lead, we're never going to actually experience that joy of seeing real results in the right way with people that we care about.
Right, right. And love, I'm noticing too, and I'm sure this way, love is the real stuff of life, isn't it? Oh. Man, I think about, You're my Savior, how we both have read it, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor, two greatest commandments. And that's kind of what your book is reminding me of is, David, you got to care about the people that you're leading. You've got to love them. They need to matter to you because that's where good leadership comes from. And you just value them as eternal souls anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
Just loving people.
Yeah, that's the right motive.
Thinking about what you said earlier about trust, building trust. And what popped in my head just now was when we love people the way we should, then trust will be a natural byproduct of that.
Yeah.
Hence, a more conducive environment for us providing leadership.
Yeah.
So I can see how, I mean, if I know you care about me and you value my well-being, then I'm going to trust you.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You're asking earlier, what is leadership? And I said, it really is a team sport. So that's kind of the one unknown that needs to be known. But if I define leadership definitions, it's about getting things done through other people. And it should be more about how we're shaping people, less than where we're taking people.
Yeah.
Because then we'll get there together. But the two attributes of great leaders, I think, there's another side to this, but empathy and authority. So a great leader, I think, has, and I'm not saying I have this all the time. I have to work on empathy.
We're working on this.
Some people, work in progress.
Yeah, that's right.
Some people naturally are empathetic. And empathy is feeling what somebody else feels. So that it's not sympathy. Sympathy is feeling for somebody, but empathy is actually feeling what they're feeling. And so if you have empathy for somebody and you're feeling what they're feeling and you have the authority to help them, that's real leadership.
Yeah.
And so I've wondered about, so how do you get authority? And I think the way that you actually gain authority with somebody, it could be your position,
right.
But it's through that trust. And I think the way that let's say that you're going through something and I can feel what you're feeling.
Yeah.
And I've been through something similar because we're most equipped to help the person we used to be. I've heard that said many times.
Yeah.
And so if I feel what you're feeling, the way that you allow me to have authority to speak into your life is by me being authentic. So if I'm real, if I'm authentic and transparent, I'm basically allowing you to feel what I'm feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's kind of a quid pro quo, and it's not just transactional, but if I feel what you're feeling and then I'm a real friend to you, that gives me the authority to help with whatever you're going through.
Good night. Yeah.
That's not an original thought, by the way. This is all from these other guys I learned from, but it's so
true.
powerful.
Yeah, to create an environment where people feel safe enough to be real, vulnerable. This is what I'm dealing with. Yeah, you're right. We've got to be real, and then that builds trust, and then hence good leadership. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I was saying earlier, when you go to movies, you kind of get captivated into the movies, and you feel like you're a part of the movie. We recently went to see the new Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah,
and it's pure action. It's fun, and there's a great story. And for me, it was a little nostalgic because I've seen all these different movies from Mission Impossible, and from our being in college through today, and so it kind of captured me and captivated me. But the greatest stories always involve some sort of hero that hasn't quite arrived yet.
Yeah.
And you think about all the great movies over time, from the Lord of the Rings to Star Wars to any of those. There's always the hero that's a little messed up, which makes it relatable for us.
Yeah.
And then in every story, there's always, this is what Donald Miller teaches in his story brand, there's a guide that helps that hero.
Right.
And so you think about that. Our job as leaders is not to always play the hero. Our job is really to be a guide so that we can help other heroes through their journey so that they have a compelling story to tell and to live. And that's where I think that ethos and ethos story comes in.
Yeah.
If I can come alongside people and help them build their story, then I've accomplished what I'm supposed to be doing. At least for me, that's my mission, is to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So be Gandalf.
Yeah, that's right. Be Gandalf.
Be Obi-Wan.
Yep. Be Yoda. Talk like Yoda.
Yeah.
So this is what I've come up with for me. And I'm not saying this is anybody else's, but my mission is to teach people to lead well so they have an extraordinary story to tell. And I didn't mean for it to rhyme, but so teach people to lead well so that they have an extraordinary story to tell. And the way I do it is through inspiring people with words of hope. And all those words kind of mean something. So story, teach, lead well, inspire means to breathe life into.
Yeah.
And I just love hope. Hope is one of my favorite words.
Yeah.
It's so compelling. I think that's what Napoleon said, that leaders are dealers in hope. So I think we're hope dealers. And and if we do it well, I don't know if he did it well, but I think it's a great quote, that we are providing people hope for their future.
That is awesome. Do you know the motto for the state of South Carolina is, I know you're North Carolinian.
Yep.
Here you go. Dum spiro spero, while I breathe, I hope.
Oh.
It's our state motto.
Oh, it's got chills.
And you got me
that
thinking
is
about
so
that.
Good.
Yeah,
say that again. Right.
While I breathe, I hope.
Oh, man.
Dum spiro spero. Yeah, they need hope.
That's powerful.
And that's part of the role of a leader, is to love and to provide hope.
Yeah.
Isn't there?
Yeah, and hope is one of those words I think has really been hijacked. because hope is kind of like a wish. I hope it doesn't rain, or I hope this happens. And that's not what hope is. Hope is always a future fact, and we can bank on it, because that is, I just think about, that, you have suffering leads to perseverance. Perseverance leads to character, which leads to hope. You're suffering. I'm reading a book right now, light reading, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. So
there you go. Easy reading.
Yeah. So I just finished a John Grisham book, and I've heard about this book. I've heard how people have been impacted by it, and I finally decided, well, I should probably read it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And the story is about Viktor Frankl, who was in the Nazi concentration camp in Auschwitz, and so it's his story of that experience.
Yeah.
And then this book is about learning what he calls logotherapy, about how to survive with hope. And he even tells, I just read this part yesterday, how more people in Auschwitz died right after Christmas than any other time of year.
Really?
Because they were hoping to be home by Christmas. And when it didn't happen, they went into despair.
Oh, wow.
And so his other than the tragic things that would happen there, and some people did die just tragically, but the ones that did persevere, most of the time it was because they had something or someone they were looking forward to, and they could picture it and see it. And hope is it's a powerful, powerful motivator.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just see as leadership, our job is to meet people where they are. And you mentioned communicating a story. Communication is such a gift that we've been given. Communication comes from the word communis or communus, which means common ground.
Yeah. So
when we're communicating, we're trying to find common ground with somebody so we can connect, so that we can go somewhere together. I just love words, by the way.
I'm with you. I love it. I love tinkering with them. I think that's probably why you and I both like writing and reading. And you've got me thinking about, I had a pastor once talk with me about leadership. He was kind of coaching us. And I don't know if you fight this tendency. I have this tendency where, because I'm relational, sometimes I really don't want to hurt you.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have to be careful, because I might be tempted not to say some things you need to hear.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, this pastor looked at me and he said, David, the kindest form of leadership is the truth.
Oof.
He said, you've got to communicate truth. And he said, not that you're being a bully or beating up on people. He's like, but there's a way where you can always communicate truth.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
People need to know where they stand and what's really going on, and where we're going and what the risks are of their truth and communication.
Yeah, and that's where hope can kind of get hijacked again, when we give false hope and kind of gloss over problems. There's a chapter I have in the book, and it's called "What About Poor Performers?" and you can apply that to work, to family. There's a real need for speaking the truth in love. We've been taught that, and I think that there's a big difference in being kind and being nice.
Right.
Kind is about the person. Nice is about me. I'm trying to be nice so you'll like me. I'm trying to not tell you the hard truth because I don't want you to dislike me. And there's a timing aspect to that too.
Yeah.
Because you don't want somebody telling you all the truth all the time about all your flaws every day. Just can't take it.
There's some discretion that can be used there.
Just lie to me.
Yeah.
But there is. I think that's the wisdom as we get older, is learning that timing of that the truth does need to be spoken, but not always and not immediately. It's the right time.
Right.
And it's but yeah, you're right though. If we gloss over that, we're not leading well.
So in speaking, exactly. So in speaking truth, timing matters and tone matters.
Absolutely.
It's
man,
how we say the right way and the wrong way to say anything.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, having with Ruthie and I, we have our 4 children now, 4 grandchildren, so all different ages. Our oldest daughter is almost 30, and our youngest son is 15. So there's a pretty big age gap. And as they were growing up, there were many times I used a talking to a 2-year-old tone to my adult daughter, and talking with an adult tone to my 5-year-old son, and getting it backwards. And I don't know if you would, but generally we can tell when we've used the wrong tone. You can see people. We kind of destroy their spirit in that moment. And once again, that's where we earn the right to speak truth,
right?
By allowing them to speak truth with us.
Right.
That's man, I tell you, this might not be a leadership thought, but one of the most humbling and powerful moments in my life, some of the most powerful moments in my life, are when I've had to apologize to people I'm leading. at home with my children, and because they get to see, I'm like, I really messed that up, and I really am sorry, and I'm going to try to do better, and it puts you on the hook. But I think that builds such a great bridge to then be, and it's not like I'm doing that so that I can tell you some hard truth. I'm doing it because it's necessary to build a bridge back because I love them. And but yeah, those are defining moments that
absolutely
wish I could skip, but I'm glad I don't.
Exactly. You and I, one of the things we've had in common, and even back when we were at Furman, we talked about this, our faith. And I know we're both Christians and believe in Christ. And so one of the things I was going to kind of give you a little chance to kick around was what role your faith plays in leadership. Because I know it's obviously a big part of your life and my life and Ruthie's life as well, and my wife, Deanna. Would you say that your faith does impact your leadership? And if so, what would be some ways that it does that?
Oh, man, absolutely, yes. And there are probably times where it doesn't as much as it should.
Yeah.
I'll give you a couple examples. So just so you know, I have a logo. My tagline for my company is Unlocking the Miracle of Leadership. And so I'll kind of work backwards towards your question here, I think. But my belief there is that everybody has leadership potential. It just needs to be unlocked. And my little picture is I have a glass or a pitcher pouring water into a glass that's turning into wine.
Yeah.
And I've always loved the story from John 2 where Jesus performed his first miracle. And it's just such a beautiful, compelling story because there's so many aspects of it that are so powerful. You got Jesus who hasn't done any miracles yet. This is kind of his coming out party, his debut as a miracle worker.
Yeah.
And his mom's involved. And she's like, hey, I need you to do this. So you got mom telling him, and he's the son of God. Yeah. And it's so great. And then you have the servants in the story at a wedding banquet are the ones that he has fill these 6 stone jars. And so the servants fill these 6 stone jars with water, and it turns into wine. And so the people that are at the wedding, they don't see the miracle happening. The servants did. And so I think about how when I'm working with a company, whether it's a Christian one or not, but an organization, the people that we're working with, they actually see the miracle happen. Now, their stakeholders and customers and all those people, they never see the miracle. They just get the results.
Right.
And I love that story. And I think that, and it, there's so much more to that Jesus used the servants, made the water, turned it to wine, the best wine, saved the best for last.
Yeah.
But I would say that's just one part of, how it's impacted the branding and communication of my business. But I mean, my faith is foundational to everything that I do, especially one last thought too. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, and he runs a printing company down in Texas, and their business is actually on a racetrack. So
really?
Physically, there's a racetrack there, and there's always cars going around this racetrack. It's very cool.
And they're in the middle of it?
Yeah, they're right next to it, and it's all part of this one cool compound. Yeah. And so I talked to my friend Brian earlier, and I said, there's a quote I've seen on a poster or sign there that I want to make sure I got it right. And I asked him this. He said, because I think it's powerful, and it goes to your question about faith. Yeah. And the sign says, where your eyes go is where you go. Where your eyes go is where you go. And it's actually from a book called Racing in the Rain. Where your eyes go is where you go.
Yeah.
And as I think about that, it's a sermon illustration, I'm sure.
I love it. Yeah.
I mean, wherever we're focused, that is where we're going to go. And I think about leadership and storytelling. In the story, one of the characters we never want to be is the bystander, the person that is there. In gaming, it's the non-playable character. It's that one robot that serves no purpose whatsoever. There's a temptation, especially for people that are like our age, Dave, that we can get into bystander mode and just coast into retirement or into life. And I just feel like that. And I think about where your eyes go is where you go. And a bystander is one of those people that are always looking down. And the antidote for that is to look up and see what's going on and get into the story. So I would say to anybody that's feeling like my life doesn't matter, it's probably because you're looking down and you're a non-playable character or a bystander, and you got to get into the story and do something. And I think that's so compelling because that's convicting to me, because it's the temptation is to live for a weekend where I can be a bystander, live for comfort, live for a retirement so that I can not have to have responsibility. Right. And that might be okay for a time or a season, but we're expected to be a part of the story. And
amen, brother.
So don't be a non-playable character. That's advice for myself.
I like that. And I was going to ask you if you had a summary thought, and that's it. Can you repeat it again? So
where your eyes go is where you go.
Where your eyes go is where you go.
Yeah, from a book called Racing in the Rain.
Wow. So you can be looking down or you can be looking ahead, and you're going to go where your eyes are fixed.
Yeah, there's one other thing I've been trying to unpack with a friend of mine named Jason, and it's all these different characters in a story.
Yeah.
And one of them is, in a story, you also don't want to be a victim. A victim is somebody it's poor me, I'm awful, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
And because you don't want to be a non-playable character, a bystander, or a victim. And if the bystander is looking down, the victim, I think, is looking in the mirror, and they're seeing themselves, and it's one of those like bright mirrors that's very like 10x. So it's seeing your worst attributes in the mirror. And if I think about that, if you start to feel like a victim, we should probably stop looking in the mirror and look out the window instead, and see the people and see what's happening out there. And I just think where your eyes go is where you go. And if I'm focused on the mirror, I'm focused on myself. But if I'm focused on the window, I'm looking at others, thinking about others. So there's something pretty deep and rich in here. We need to unpack some more. But what are you looking at? That would be a great question to ask people. And I find myself falling into the bystander victim mentality sometimes. When you're a victim, you have to make somebody into a villain, which that's why we have cable news, right?
That's exactly right. That is rich. Kirk, man, thank you for this.
Thank you. This has been so great to catch back up. It's like we've never been apart. It's just, I've missed you. And I didn't quite realize how much until we got to see each other.
I've missed you too, man. And I think those are the best friendships, where you can be apart for years. When you come back, you just pick right back up. So anyway, this has been great. And I'm going to finish reading your book, and I look forward to others getting your book. And we'll have to have you back sometime. I'd love to do this again if you'd be up for it.
Thanks for the conversation. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yep.
Man, I really appreciate Kirk. I thought a lot of wisdom just flowed out of him during that conversation, and I hope you had that same experience listening to it. I just want to close with two very quick, short thoughts. Number one, here's a word: submit. I think one of the wisest things we can do is submit to God's leadership, because God is the ultimate leader. I love what it says over here in Psalm chapter 139, verse 24. It says, "Lead me in the way everlasting." I like that idea. God, lead me in the way that is everlasting, the way that is spiritually significant, the way that is most beneficial, the way that will be the biggest blessing in my life and in the lives of other people. God, just lead me. I think one of the best things you and I can do is submit to God's leadership. Let Him lead us through His Word, through His Holy Spirit, through other people, and even through circumstances. And the wisest of us will be people who will submit to His leadership and follow His leadership, because ultimately God knows best. So that's the first word, is submit. And then here's the second word, pray. Let us make this our prayer. God, please lead us to be better leaders wherever we are and whoever we're with. Make this your prayer. God, help me to lead my family right. Help me to lead my classmates right. Help me to lead my coworkers in the right way. Help me to lead, Lord, my community in the right way. See, God gives wisdom to people who are humble enough to seek it. And so let's make it our prayer. God, as you lead me, help me to lead other people in the best way possible. Leadership, man, everything rises on it and everything falls on it. So let's seek God's leadership in our lives. That is, submit. And let's be in search of God's help to be the best leader we can be wherever we may be. And that word is pray. Submit and pray, all wrapped up in leadership. Hey, I want to thank you for tuning into the DaveCast. Make sure you tell your family and friends about this. Get the word out there, because I think this stuff can help other people. Until then, keep looking up, keep pushing forward, and stay awesome.